Okay, so think about how we all learn to read for a second. The whole process seems pretty obvious, right? You learn your letters, you sound out the words, and then, bam, you're reading a book. But what if that's completely backwards? Today, we're diving into this really fascinating idea that maybe, just maybe, kids should learn to write before they learn to read.
So, let's jump right in with what I'm calling the reading paradox. It's a super simple but honestly pretty profound idea that's right at the heart of the Montessori approach to literacy. And it completely challenges an assumption most of us have just accepted our entire lives.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. On the left, you've got the traditional way, the way most of us did it. Read first, then write. But look at the Montessori path. It completely flips the script. First, you write. Then, you read. So the big question is, why? I mean, why on earth would you teach a child how to build words before they can even figure out what they say? Well, the answer isn't just some quirky teaching trick. It's actually a really deep philosophy, and it's all based on how kids naturally develop. The whole idea is to empower them to create something before you ever ask them to decode something. Let's break that down.
This right here, this is the core of it. It's all about framing these two skills as totally different things. Writing is expressive. It's a child taking the sounds they know, building a word, and putting their own idea out into the world. You can think of it like building with Legos, right? They're making their own creation. Reading, on the other hand, is receptive. That's like being handed a blueprint someone else made and trying to figure out what it is. The argument is that it's just way more natural for a kid to build their own thing first.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? When you focus on a kid's natural drive to communicate, to express themselves, you're not forcing anything. You're just letting the next step happen. And that next step, reading, just sort of emerges on its own, totally naturally, with zero pressure. Expression first, then understanding.
So, how does this actually work? In a real classroom. It's definitely not about just handing a kid a pencil and wishing them luck. Nope. It's a really deliberate, super careful path of preparation that builds the foundation, one little piece at a time.
And this is how that path unfolds. It all starts with the sounds, connecting that k sound to the letter C. Then, and this is the really cool part, before they even have to worry about holding a pencil right, kids use something called a movable alphabet to physically build words. From there, they start picking up common sight words and matching labels to actual objects. And only then, after all that groundwork is laid, do they start reading simple books. See how each step just logically builds on the last one? It makes that final leap into reading feel, well, almost effortless.
Now, this whole gentle journey is made possible by a set of really, truly ingenious hands-on tools. And these aren't just little extras. They are the absolute key to making abstract ideas like letters and sounds feel tangible and real to a little kid.
These are the stars of the show. With sandpaper letters, a child can literally feel the shape of a sound with their fingertips. The movable alphabet lets them write entire stories without the physical struggle of handwriting. Then you have object and word cards that connect a written symbol to a real-world thing they can hold. It's this amazing multi-sensory approach that gets the whole child involved.
And that's the whole ball game, right there. Like the slide says, these materials make the entire process playful and stress-free. The goal is to get rid of the pressure. Learning to write and read becomes this fun game of matching and creating. It's all about joyful exploration, not stressful drills. Okay, so all of this preparation, all of this playful work, it all leads to what is honestly one of the most magical moments you can witness in a child's education, the aha moment. This is where it all just clicks, not because they were drilled on it, but because they figured it out for themselves. So picture this. You've got a little kid sitting with the movable alphabet. They know their sounds, and they want to write about their dog. So they find the letters for the sounds they hear in their head. D, A, G. They physically place the D, then the O, then the G. And just like that, they've written a word. They've expressed their own thought. And then the magic happens. Maybe it's a week later. Maybe it's a month. She's looking at a book, and she sees those same 3 letters together. And suddenly, it's not just her creation anymore. It's a code she can crack. She points, and with this total burst of excitement, she reads, "Dog!" In that moment, she realizes that the words she can make are the same words she can read. It's a discovery.
And that little story, that right there is what this is all about. It perfectly captures this philosophy. The goal was never to get her to read by a certain birthday. The goal was to guide her to this moment of pure, unfiltered discovery. And that feeling,
That's what builds a lifelong love of reading.
And this leads us to such a crucial takeaway. The timeline just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Whether a child has that aha moment at 4 years old or at 6 years old is completely beside the point. What actually matters is protecting their confidence and letting them follow their own unique path. Like it says here, both of those journeys are perfectly, wonderfully normal.
So, that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. When we focus so much on benchmarks and what age a child should be doing something, what are we really teaching? This whole approach asks us to rethink the entire goal. Is reading a competitive race that you have to win, or is it a magical world just waiting to be discovered?